Good morning, my friends. How have you been? I hope you're doing really great, having very positive and sustainable days, right? Good health and harmony and clean water and clean lands, have organic gardens, right? A good own your own house or apartment and also have good education, right? For everyone. Preschools, schools, good adult education, lots of workout, right? Sun exposure, and also awesome universities with a lot of outside learning games, also sun exposures, community gardens, and getting ready for a 28 volunteer weeks. My name is Goiana Ferreira, and I'm the International Director of the Clean Water and Peace Organization. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to have a video about awareness to parents and teachers, mostly, right? And adults of all ages. So we have to pay attention on what stories we tell our children, what books, movies, videos we let them watch. This is very important, very important. What have we been offering? What we have been offering to them, and what we also let them get it if they go to the library, if they bring from school. It's very important. We have to pay attention. Okay, my friends, this is very important for them and you, parents and teachers, to don't be an illusion, in negative magic, anything that's negative. We have to pay attention, all right? Okay. So, a few things. Let's talk first about some Waldorf schools that talks about fairy tales, right? So this is very important. We really have to pay attention. We are not telling fairy tales. Most of them, I don't even know one of them for the Grimm stories, that are really positive. Many, many fairy tales, we have to pay attention. And also, pay attention to the new writers. What are they writing? What they're talking about? So this is very important. We need our children safe from the first moment on. So the very little ones have little short rhymes, right? Little short games of all types at school and at home. This is very important. But all those fairy tales from the Grimm, that's give, Waldorf teacher give a lot of value to them. We have to pay attention. And also, as I said, to the new stories, to the new writers for Waldorf schools and for the others as well. What are they talking about? There's forbidden, my friends, and it's very negative to talk about people under seas, or even mermaids, or queens and kings, and all these things, or people in the deserts, or people that got lost in islands, or people, all these things are negative, not needed, not positive. Okay, so all of them go through very negative parts. So that's not a good imagination, because Rudolf Steiner says that young children need imagination, but these are not good imagination at all. No child need any of those stories at any age. So they all suffer somehow. So Cinderella suffer, the Sleeping Beauty suffer, Rapunzel suffer, Snow White suffer, Frau Hole, the girl, also suffer a lot. Riding Hood suffer. It's all negative stories that we cannot put in our children's mind. Also, the new stories created by Disney and other authors, like the Beauty and the Beast, and there goes many already said a few things about that. Other stories also, Jack and the Beanstalk, he steals. What good about that? Not good. Cat in the Boots, all those stories are negative. So we have to pay attention. And I need actually your help. If you're a teacher, know good new writers that create good positive stories. A little difficulty, it's okay, because then they succeed. If they succeed at the end, that is okay. It happens, right? If they're making a garden, or they went for a field trip, or something in nature, or in at the school, or the family traveling, or something like that, but cannot be suffering in any of our stories. A little difficulty, a little situation, and then they're strong and they win, they overcome that situation, then it's okay. All right, we have to pay attention. The other things is the new bad stories that have been created, and people somehow, it's all over. I don't know, they get millions, billions of dollars in movement with negative stories. So we have in the United States some old ones that many people still like them, and also the most recent ones, for the last 1 or 2 decades. So the older ones like Star Wars, and the funny ones, that are laughing of others. And then came most recent ones, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and everything else, anime and everything else I already said in other videos. So please pay attention. Pay attention. What you like, so because it's a lot. You pass to your own students and to your own children, teens, what you allow them to have or not. Pay attention. Okay, why I'm saying that? Because we need to correct. So the main thing is that we already know we have the peace organization being implemented with all rules and guidelines, everything gonna be properly written. But we have also to correct what was already done. So if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, and you told those stories to your children, or you let them have books or clothes or things related to any of those negative stories and others that I didn't even mention, you have to talk to them. You need to set up a meeting on Sunday, family meeting, a good important meeting, talk about those things and explain why they're very negative. So they won't have that on their mind for decades without even knowing. Or some that are really attached to some stories. Some people get a book, bad books, and they get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the whole collection. So you have to see what they were reading, what were they listening at their school. If you're a parent, you have to talk to your teachers, because even the books that tell short stories for the ELA, of your own country, of course, the classes for your own language, teach your own language, to use the grammar, talk to your teacher a little bit. So the teacher will be aware, send this link to that teacher, so that teacher would make correction for their students, And you can even talk to previous teachers or ask your child. No, not previous teacher. I don't think that's needed. Ask your child which negative stories, because it's important to talk a few words about that, so they won't be attached to negative stories. Also, stories with gnomes, with fairies, because one thing was said, for example, good stories about gnomes and fairies, such in Waldorf schools, they have that, and others as well, right? Some are very negative too. Regular books that are out there, some are negative too. But you have to talk to them so they won't keep that information, negative information, with themselves, right? So we have to clean. So set up a meeting on the first Sunday or the second Sunday, depend what's most important, because some families are cleaning up the house. Some families need to get their garden going. Some families need to purchase seeds and things for the garden. So organize yourself. Will be, as soon as you get this video, will be the first or the second one. If really needed, you can postpone, and do it on a third or a fourth Sunday, family meeting, because depends how much bad information they had, you have to talk about. Also for teens and young adults or yourself that were listening, raps, very negative, not harmonious stories. Some raps have very good words, but it's not a good beat. It's not good for us, right? And some people have even, it's like they like negative stories. Some elders also, they don't know what to do. They get one bad book after another. It's amazing. It's all about drama, killing, suspense, and there goes. Negative things because they have nothing to do and they like those type of stories. So we have to clean our brains of negative things we had in the past. All right? This is very important. So set up the meeting up to the fourth Sunday, as soon as you get this information, and talk to your students and talk to your own children, teens, young adults, parents, grandparents, everyone. We have to talk. Set up that meeting and talk to them. The other thing, if you're a teacher and having this information, you know that your school did already a lot of that, their books were not good, not positive. Also talk to them, because maybe that child, that children and teens receive those information from previous teachers, but you were there, you talk to them, and guide them. They can give some examples if they know of stories that school used to use, and will serve for the whole class. Get 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whichever you think is important, and give some example. Explain why we are not having anything to do with suffering. No stories to do with suffering. We have to, if the person has difficulty, someone it's not being kind to the person, someone is not being, cooperative or something like that, some difficulties, is okay, but the person needs to overcome. The person needs to be strong, right? If the person has a health situation, if the person has a situation with their sibling, their parents, or their teachers, or colleagues, right? The class colleagues, or anything, they have to be strong and speak, and they have to overcome, find a way to be strong and successful and overcome that situation. Okay? All right. So teachers and parents need to talk. If grandparents told those stories, because that can happen too. Sometimes grandparents had their children or gave them books. They have to talk. So for families, get everyone together, set up a day up to the fourth weekend from today's date, right? Set up, get everyone, find a good place and talk about. And how long you're going to talk about, whichever is needed. It depends how many things you let them have. Can be 20 minutes, can be 2 hours, 4 hours. 4 hours too much, but up to 2 hours I think is reasonable, right? And set up, let's talk first about all songs. Let's talk all about all stories. You set up numbers, right? Let's talk all about the books we were reading. And let's talk about all the movies you were watching. And let's talk about all video games, because some people had very negative video games that were killing, video games that were destroying all the time. So you're going to see, I think up to 2 hours more or less will be plenty, around 2 hours, right? So these 5 items. Number 1, all songs. Number 2, stories. Number 3, books. Number 4, movies and videos. Okay, so sorry. Number 5, video games. And number 6, videos. Online short videos. Some people are exactly connected to negative videos. It's amazing. And people put things laugh about others, things that are really stupid, nobody needs to see, things that are hurting others, And we have the educational videos. Videos that some people post online to help others with something, with planting, with pay attention where they walk, pay attention with others, pay attention if someone is getting hurt, a neighbor, someone on the street asking for help, right? So these short videos, TikTok, and also the YouTube videos, some are very informative, teaching something very positive, and some others make no sense. They're very negative. So put these 6 items and talk to your family, talk to your students. Take a day to talk about that before the 4 weeks break or after the 4 weeks break, right? Because everywhere we are going to have the 4 weeks break, right? The 4 weeks break for all countries, all counties and all countries at the same day, the same weeks for everyone, right? So we are trying really that. It's very important. Okay, so before or after, get it done. Okay? All right, and be ready. Okay, when you start that meeting, the first thing you're going to do is ask your children, teens, if you're a parent, and ask your student if you are a teacher. For you to have an idea of what's going on, just ask a few words. Don't let everyone get their examples, but you can ask which examples of negative stories are, and you're going to listen from them. For the parents, they can even, write it down for them to have records. Why I'm saying that? Not have records to keep it, but just for the meeting itself. Get a little piece of paper. All right, because some people read a book and they do not keep that information, right? They read, gone, they don't practice that information. So, for example, they read a book about fighting or shooting or killing others or murder and things. Yes, there is. There's books like that, and for teens, a lot of it, right? Or being gay is okay, being lesbian is okay, because some schools get that information, and our children in private or public schools, they are, exposed to negative things. Some mild and some really bad ones, even in good, positive schools. That they say they're great, they say they're Christians, or they say they are this religion, that religion, or they say they're Waldorf, but there are bad books on those. You have to pay attention. What they put on their children's mind, or for example, that being monks, Buddhist monks is okay, or being nuns or being priests is okay, it's great, they put information on children and teens' head, and even on adult head, but they are bad, negative information, okay? So the teacher's gonna spend maybe 5 minutes or so, right? Just listen a few examples, here and there. And you can write the 6 topics at the board, right? So you go over. Give me some examples of negative songs. So they're going to tell you here that you heard here at school, or negative stories or negative books. Focus on the school. If it's a new student, then that student already said, please don't tell. We are trying to see students that already were studying here, for them to have an idea. It's important. And then you go over, put maybe 2 examples of each on a blackboard, right? The blue board, the green board, whichever you have, right? And then you just an example, and ask the children to think about others they have in their heads, okay? If you're a parent, you write it down on a piece of paper. All right. So, and then the parents that are leading that meeting, the parents that they have at that moment are leading that meeting, gonna be talking about those, as I said, because some people really keep inside their heads and some they do not, all right? And you're gonna say sorry, that's fine, For example, even I told some fairy tales, not some very bad ones, but I told some fairy tales to my students, but that's too many years ago. Too many years ago, so it does not make sense for me to apologize because they already grew up, so that the parents have to do their job, okay? But it's important for you to talk to your own children, teens, all right, and go over those details. If you see that a story you've been told quite a few times to your children, now they're teens or they're young adults, whichever they are, but they, don't even mention, so already passed, you don't go to mention, right? Focus on what they still have on their heads. And just mention because, I told some stories and they're negative. Just do the best you can with that information, all right? Okay, my friends, so let's get ready for our peace organization. All right, have a wonderful day. At the end of this family meeting, remember to focus on positive things. Or you tell a good story if you already know one, or sing two songs together. You have to, because you talk a lot about negative things, now you have to focus on positive things, okay? All right? Okay, so that's really important. I think the best would be sing two songs, two organization songs, all right? And if you have little children or teens, you can also go outside and play, right? Do something positive to complete in a positive way. You can also give some examples of good things that you did in a childhood, because those are also good things that we can tell our children, teens. Good things that we did, for all the years. Good things, right? As I said, a little difficulty, if you really overcame that situation, then it's okay. If you did not, and then you don't talk about, right? Because there are many funny, happy stories in a good way, right? That we can also tell our children, teens, okay? All right, sing your two songs and have your just a few information about your family meeting, right? That you did that, and who was present, on your records book. Okay? All right, doing really great. Get ready for wonderful and positive days. I forgot to say, when you adopt your children, teens, and soon as you have all of them, you're also going to plan a meeting and talk about those items. All right? Okay, thank you.